Okay, so now we have the next step in rebuilding the 0.2 ohm GTX coil. Now, I forgot to show that what tools you're going to need. You're going to need a pair of snips, something like that, fairly large ones, so you can cut your wicking. Comes in handy. Pair of ceramic tweezers will come in handy, or any old tweezers will do. Pair of little pliers so that you can pull your old coil out. And of course you'll need your wicking. Now, I'm not doing this as a professional. This is my just very first attempt, and I hope I can help someone actually work out how to do this, because it took me quite a few attempts until I got it right. Okay, so what we need to do is, in your box you'll find some wicking like that. There'll be several strips. Usually you get 10 strips and 10 meshes. Now, you don't need the full length of the wicking, because that's just a waste. What you do is you actually take it and cut it in about half, like that. And you need to get another piece of your wicking and separate just one layer, one skinny little layer of your wicking. Now, that's going to act as the cover for the sort of outside of the inside barrel. So next step is you take the wicking and you lay it on there like so. Probably easy if you do it this way. Okay, it's not exactly even. I'm not going to strive for perfection, but you can gather what's going on here. Now, you then take your mesh, and of course you need to ascertain which is the flat side. And the flat side is the side that the side that has the little weld marks on it. You can see, you can just see the little weld marks there. Have a look at the other side. There's no weld marks, and it's actually a bit, little bit raised. Anyway, so this side with the weld marks, that's the flat side. That actually has to go down on there. Hang on, like so. You get it all as even as you possibly can. Then you find your little rod, and you take the rod and you place it down in the middle of the mesh and the wicking, and just adjust this a little bit, and you gather up. It's probably easiest to do with tweezers. You gather up one side, bend it up, hold it, gather up the other side, and then hold it together with your fingers. And okay, and you wrap it round. Now, as you can see, I've got where the wicking meets is pretty much where the two legs of the coil mesh comes out. So you pull that as tight as you can, and then you turn it over and you grab your little barrel and you find the slot. See that slot there? And what you need to do is you need to get the legs through the other end. Now, can see what I'm doing there. And you take all this and you work it down into the slot as hard as you can, as far as it'll go. You can even push it a little bit with your fingernails if you like, or any other tool. That's fine. Now, what you've got is you've got this little piece of single wicking that we pulled out before. And what we need to do is we need to trim this off. So you get the flat side of your snips and you locate there and you push it down and you trim it as flush as you possibly can. There we go. Right. So then we take this wicking and we wrap it all the way around. You don't need to use all of it, because I found if you use all of it, it might be a little bit of a tight fit. Only enough to go around to just cover the other side. Cut that off. Now, what you now need to do is hold it all in place. Oops, sorry. And you take your barrel and you work it and twist it gently. Now this one's going to be a little bit tight. You twist it and twist it. Hang on. This is going to be a bit tight, so I'm going to take a little bit of that wicking off. Sometimes it's tight, sometimes it's not so tight. So now we take this barrel and work it down. This one's going to be funny buggers for me. Here we go, here we go. And you twist and twist and twist, and you get it as best as you can until you get down to the bottom. And it's okay if there's a little bit of wicking, hanging out there. And you twist it around so that you can see, okay, that will line up with the little air vent there, because it will line up with the hole underneath as well. Okay, now give it a good twist and sort of roll, pressing the inside out. Okay, so that's just a nice, take that out, and here we have what looks like a brand new coil. Okay, the next thing you need to do, of course, is you need to connect your legs of the mesh. Now, you're going to have two of these, okay? One leg needs to go and connect into that little slot there if you've got slots. If you haven't got slots, it's okay, just as long as it gets pushed against the outer barrel of the coil, because that's your ground. So what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll bend it over down like that. Push it in a little bit. And we take our snips. Oops, sorry. And just snip it off. And make sure that that's sitting. Make sure that's sitting in your little groove. Push it outward. Now you can sometimes just get a little screwdriver or something and just sort of press in there just to make sure that it's sitting. Okay. Then we take a little red grommet and we place it around that other leg, and we find where, see that? So you got one leg it's pointing out there into the slot. Oh, it's not quite. I'm going to have to, I don't know if you can see that. It's not quite there. Okay, so we take the little grommet and we, take the little grommet and we push down at the edge near where that leg has bent over. So that's pressing up against the barrel. And we press in the other side. Oops. You can do this any way you want, but you'll work out. There we go. Oops. Okay. So you can see we've got this little leg here. You can actually see I haven't trimmed it terribly well. It's just sticking out a little bit. So anyway, you can trim it up when you can take the time. Now you take your center one, which is your positive, and you take it and snip it off, but press down a bit so that it's not going to poke too much out. Because you'll find that you may end up getting leaks if you've got too much hanging out. You just need enough. You can see that. You just need enough there, just so it's just under the top of that little plug. Now, take your little grommet and down and against the leg, press with your thumb, press down, there we go. Now, you'll need to secure that. I should have done that first because that way I might end up deforming the legs of the mesh, but it's okay, I'll give it a try. You can get a little bit of cardboard or something, sit it on top, and just there we go. And you can see that's, wow, there's a little bit hanging out there, but you catch the general gist of it. So we've got a nice clean coil inside, and make sure that's pressed in. The only thing we need to do is to test it and make sure that we got a good resistance. Fingers crossed. Okay, I'm going to test it using my little Vaporesso swag. So here we go. Oops, we got the coil. Push the coil in. Fingers crossed. Oops. Drum roll. I don't know if you can see that, but it's saying, oops, it is saying, oops, okay, it is saying 0.20 ohms. This is not a good one. Just an example. Whoops, there we go. Hang on. .20. Anyway, trust me, that's 0.20 ohms. So that, my friends, and I'm sorry, this is my very, very first instructional video. That is how to rebuild a Vaporesso GTX2 coil.